and welcome to this speed paint of a lava mermaid that I drew last week. I did not film the sketching process, so this starts with me taping a piece of Copic marker paper to my sketchbook to do the line art. It's a really good thing that this paper is so thin because I don't have a light table, though I probably would have gotten one if this paper was any thicker. I used mostly pro markers for this, except for the gray and black parts, for which I used the very few Copic markers that I actually own. And I kind of prefer the pro markers. I feel like the end result is kind of less grainy. I don't know if anyone else has that problem with Copic markers, but I feel like Copic markers ends up being a little bit grainy, and I don't really like that. So I think the pro markers, I think their pro markers look much better. And this is a redraw of a piece I made 3 years ago in 2014. So I tried to kind of use everything I felt like I had improved on since then in this drawing. So in 2014 I had put the mermaid on this rock protruding kind of from the lava, and she was in a crater and you could see the sky above her. But in this one I put her in this cave with lava dripping down from the overhang in front of her, and that just made her kind of interact with the environment in a way I actually think works much better. And I also put some rocks in the foreground, because when I was younger I didn't really plan out that kind of stuff in the same way that I am able to do now with the knowledge I have now. And I used 3 different gray Copics to blend the rocks, along with some reddish orange pro marker to kind of make the glow from the lava give the rocks a slightly red tint to them. And most of the foreground rocks are black, because I wanted to make them look closer than the rocks in the background that are gonna be more grayish. And I'm really happy with how that worked out, so I'm very glad. When drawing the lava, I used mainly the mandarin and the gold pro markers, I think, if I remember correctly. And I used some yellow where it dripped down from the overhang, because I wanted that to be lighter, and I used a brownish color to make the orange blotches kind of darker in the middle. And I really like how that effect turned out. And for the dripping parts, I used a white gel pen in the end to cover up the line art and make it look real glowy with the white lines around it. And I used reds and browns to make the cave look darker and kinda illuminated from the lava and the mermaid. And I'm really happy with how that turned out. I did go over it later with the same red to make it kind of less saturated though, but after that I was really happy with the result. And you can see that I have this plastic folder right beside my art that I use for blending. I simply have a blotch of brown on the plastic that I then dip my orange marker in to pick up some of that darker color. It's a really nice technique if you guys are having troubles with blending some colors. I've used it for several years now. Used it on the piece in 2014 too. I did not add a lot of shading on the mermaid's body. I just kind of added some blush on her, in her face and on her shoulders. I think it worked out well enough anyways, so it's not really a problem I have. The sky, it's gonna be cloudy on this picture and the sky is gonna be gray, so the main light source would kind of be the lava and the shadows would be very, very soft. So I just decided to not do them, and this way I could make the shadows in the environment and other places of the drawing play a bigger role, and I'm very happy with how they turned out. So I also realized that despite feeling really proud of all my improvement, I really haven't practiced drawing long hair all that much. And I think I would like to work on that more in the future, with getting the movement of the hair and the highlights and shadows to look even better than it does in this picture. One thing I'm not completely satisfied about is the blending that I made on the tail. I think that maybe I should have sketched some very light guidelines so that I could have made the blending look more three-dimensional, and so that it would help show that foreshortening thing I was going for in the tail. So that's definitely something I'm gonna try to remember in the future, that if there's something this shape in that's foreshortened like this, it would probably be a good idea to sketch out the shape and not just go for it. One thing I had a lot of fun with was making the rocks look like hardened lava. The initial blending I did was a bit too high in contrast for me to really like it, but I managed to kind of save it in the end. I went in with, I think, my lightest gray to make it all a bit more, make it all have the same, a bit less contrasty, and after that I used a fine liner to really make that texture that hardened lava really has, and to add more of that detail, and I think it really helped. And I did also add some of the gold pro marker, I think, to once again get some of that glowy lava look like it's throwing light onto the rocks, and to make it tie together a bit better. But yeah, I had a really fun time doing this part and just getting the shading and that feeling to look really good. In my old piece, I had not even tried to make the rocks look like lava. I just made them kind of reddish brown and really boring. So really studying what lava looks like made this look way better than the old piece from 2014, 3 years ago. The entire background did turn out a bit darker than I had anticipated, and I wanted to really make it look like it was farther away than the foreground and middle ground. So when I scanned this piece and took it into Photoshop, I actually edited the background a little bit to look slightly lighter and to make the line art a little bit less intense than the rest of the line art. And for the lava on the ground, I tried to make it look like it's kind of moving downwards real slow, so I tried to get this wave movement that it gets as it hardens and starts moving slower. I was considering adding black in the end to the bottom right corner of the piece to make it look like it had actually hardened there at the end, but I ultimately decided against that because I thought, I don't know, I think I just got a little bit scared of destroying the drawing. So I left all of it orange and yellow and stuff. And here I am going back to the cave as I said I was going to. And doing the white gel pen thing to really make it look like it's very bright and glowy and hot. And I think it turned out really cool. Maybe not the exact same way as it had in my head. I got a bit worried that it blended in with the mermaid a bit too much, but I don't know, after like sleeping through it once and looking at it in the morning again, I actually think it looks okay. So yeah. And the sky was the hardest part because I didn't really have an idea for the longest time that I wanted it to be gray, because in the first picture that I did in 2014 I made it blue and I knew I did not like it, but I didn't know what to do and how to tie it together with the colors I had already used. But I made it gray with some yellow and orange to really tie it together, make it kind of look like there was some fire or something that you couldn't see that sort of made the clouds a bit yellow, you know? And I think it looks cool and really matches the rest of the drawing much better than if I had done it blue. So yeah, I'm gonna add a link to the finished drawing in the description so you can look at that. And if you like this, please subscribe to this channel because this is my first video, but I am really planning to making more YouTube videos. I would really like to build up my own YouTube channel. So if you like this, please subscribe and stay tuned, I guess. Bye!